Hello, Candice. Hi. I think I mixed you up with somebody else. Had a CPI, US CPI session just now at 2 o'clock. Someone also Candice, and I think it mixed you up with somebody else. Probably wonder what the hell I was talking about. It's talking about gigs and things like that.
Yeah, no. Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah. What's he on about? There's another Candice, but I forget the surname now. And somebody saw the Barnwell. I thought, oh my goodness, got the surname. Paul, that's probably what the hell's he on about? Going to gigs, this guy going.
Yeah, so I'm a musician. So I work as a full-time artist. I do gigs, corporates, private functions, weddings, birthdays, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. So you mentioned that before. I think it was on WhatsApp a couple of months or so ago.
Yes.
I remember, yeah. And I missed your gig. You very kindly sent it to me. But quite a nice place actually. And there's where we got down. I forget something came out I couldn't or whatever. But yeah, I know it's good to have a star on the show, you know.
Oh, fabulous! Thank you.
Yeah. You haven't been on here before, have you? You haven't been on the training room before, have you?
No.
Yeah. I didn't think so because I never recognise your name. Okay. It's just quite simple. It's just like a forum, interact. I don't know how much you covered. Have you done any Forex courses? How much background have you got? Have you done anything since we last spoke? Because
just going through the course and, making sure that I understand the basics. In reality, I really wanted to see an active trade and see what it looks like and what a pro would do. So this is what I hope the trading room was for.
Well, actually, as a matter of fact, it was exactly what it's supposed to be about. But often people do drift in where they don't know what a PIP is, don't do Forex and indices or shares, and haven't looked at even the basics. So you've done what I would prefer people to do. So get the basics and then go into the practical area. It's like a forum. We all interact.
Exactly.
We've done now or on the chat line. And then we look at a trade and place it with the position size correct. Put the basics into practical use. But it's not a place you come to if you don't know what Forex is and what a PIP is or anything at all, basically. And then they start asking questions, which I don't mind, but it holds up the guys who want to do active trading, who've done the course, who paid the money, put in the hard yards. They now want to put into practice and get some trades going. Last thing on me is spend an hour trying to get through to a person or a lot sizes. That's supposed to be done by the classes. And remember, Stock Market College is a completely separate company. They do the training, and I do the support side of the quick trade. That's how it comes. Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't mind if I just curiously sit and watch and take in as much as I can. Not to say that I might be able to consume at all, but if I could just watch.
Well, you won't, to be fair. I mean, you're a cabaret artist. I want to be a cabaret artist after 1 hour. You laugh at me, won't you? Same principle. You know what I mean? Yeah. I fancy me being a rock star. How long does it take? Half an hour or an hour? Same principle. So you sit in, keep a couple of notes, interact. If you can get on stage, obviously you're not going to be shy and nervous, so you can interact verbally. That's not a problem. And pick stuff up. That's the whole idea. It's just, I want you to join. I wish more people did come in here, and then they wouldn't be making some of the mistakes they're making, which are unnecessary. Can't tell. I think the Nasdaq's going to go up and down for me. I can take a view on it, obviously, but I don't know for certain. But I know if you go into big position size wise, or I mean, certain things you can overcome by learning, obviously. Okay, when it's 4 o'clock, we get started. Hi guys. I think some of you are already in the CPI one. Bit of a damp squib, but on the bright side, a lot of guys disclose both the straddle trade side, the long and the short, on the buy stop, sell stop, and went in. Some guys were sucked in on the sell. I told them to put a TP in around about 1.077. Sorry, stop loss 1.0770, maybe 1.06, something like that. TP and run it as a normal trade they're in. It was looking a bit shaky earlier on, but it dropped below 107 just now, so maybe it's sort of back to break even. So it might not be such a disaster. When I say disaster, it's a bit of a melodramatic word. It shouldn't have been anywhere near that. The figures came out exactly as expected, which is about the worst scenario you can get. And even that should have been extreme damage limitation. And the guy was sucked in. Let's to put the stop too tight, put it like where I said up there. Sort of right now, probably about breaking even now. In fact, about 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, they're actually in a profit. Just a second. Sorry, I thought I left something on there. I beg your pardon. Okay, so yeah, we'll let it run and just maybe come right. The dollar decided to change around. I thought, remember I said that just now in the earlier room, that it might be coming out exactly the same, might be considered a bit construed as a bit disappointing, because obviously they want a lower figure to see inflation coming down. So that's why it's a little bit iffy running around and a bit of dollar strength coming in. So being that as it may, if you're in the euro dollar trade from the CPI, got your stop, your TP, I gave it to you. If you haven't got it, I'll give it to you again. Let it run. It might actually come right. And the worst scenario you come right, can you imagine it's a very much better scenario how well you'll do? Okay. All right. I hope all good with that. I don't worry, Janice, you probably didn't attend probably what the hell I'm talking about. It's just we did what's called a straddle trade on a US fundamental that came out. So what I'm going to do when we're on that subject, I'm going to post two for you on here. This is the dollar index. Clearly the dollar runs the world, whether you like the dollar or not. It's irrelevant. It runs the world whether you like it or not. So there's, just copy paste that and keep that minimized if you do trade or when you do trade. And this is what's called the economic calendar. Also very important, because you don't want to be going into a trade just when a major economic fundamental is coming out, called a calendar fundamental, like the CPI, Consumer Price Index, that can affect the world markets in America. If it happens here, it doesn't affect much, to be honest. But in America, it does. So just keep a note of that, copy and post. Yeah, Teresa. Good question. When you get a lot of funny things like Silicon Valley Bank going bust, nerves in the market going out there, all these sort of things, you get emotion taking out the logic. So I hear you almost figuring him out saying, what is this? Now, you often do get these rather funny movements, simply because the market doesn't know what to make of what's going on. Suddenly you get a bank, and then the bank deposits are rescued, etc. So it's a bit strange. But having said that, yeah, make a note of that, those two there. Having said that, we'll go to the Dow as we speak. And yeah, if the dollar strengthens, that's supposed to come off. But remember, the dollar did weaken a bit earlier on, to be fair. This next trading session is just a second. Okay. Yeah, and as always, so Candice, always very basic thing with this. It's just more common sense. But unfortunately, when money comes onto it, common sense seems to go out the window, and emotions take over. And that often it's the wrong thing. It's emotion actually quite much. Having said that, you are quite right. If the dollar goes up, in theory, the Dow and that should go in the opposite direction, like gold. Having said that, go back to my dollar index here just a second. The dollar index has started to rise over since the last hour. Since 4 o'clock, it's been going up a fair whackling on the hourly one. Just a second. So much crap on the other screen. I'm going to get stuff out of the way. Just the hour one. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just been going up a little bit lately. So I personally, the Dow, that's going to come off. It might be going up the moment. How long is that? Yeah, maybe how far is that to there? Still a long way away, 160 pips. I think just keep an eye out for now, but I'm looking up for a short sell on this one. I think it's in the short area. Bank foreclosure, these sort of things are not good. Dollar starting to strengthen a bit. CPI came out as expected, which is not really good, because they wanted obviously a lower than figure expected to see that inflation's coming off. So I don't know. I think for sure. You have a wide stop. You do the micro. Candice, you need to get the micro. I'm doing it. If you got time tomorrow, 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'm doing what you call it, something on the micro indices, giving a people with smaller accounts the ability to trade them with wide stops. Okay. But those are the micro. If you put the stop up here, that's good enough. Maybe slightly wider, with maybe a 300 pip stop, which is not going to be too critical on the micro. We can look at a short because I see it coming off. I assume you're not long. If you're in short, definitely leave it alone because I think it's going to come off. I'm actually thinking of getting a short trade now for guys who are not in it. Okay, I think still leave gold alone, but I think it's to exhaustion. I think that's going to, yeah, I think 1910 is going to hold for the time being. I think it might go a bit sideways, even pull back a bit. I think don't want to be chasing it now. The downside, definitely not the up at this stage anyway. Look at your dollar jumping around. Look at the 15 minutes jumping around. That just nervous indecision, Teresa. Nervous indecision, emotional stuff is propelling those up and down. Mark doesn't look at that candle there. Doesn't know where it wants to go. Indecision. But I think I just try not to see a recovery out there. There's so many economic problems out there that I think sell the rally is the name of the game. You've had a bit of a rally. I've seen some downside here with a decent stop. Have you got anyone not got the position size calculator? If you haven't, you need to have it. Not for shares, by the way. Shares won't look at that in a minute. Not for shares. That's on your LMS, your stock market login, a spreadsheet. But this is for everything else but shares. You need to have it. Go to live chat, go to tech support, and get this. Position sizing, Candice and company, is the major reason why people make a screw up. They don't get the right budget. They go in too small or more wrong, going too big. What it would do, it makes you, sure as hell makes me nervous. When you've got emotions like the moment in charge, of course you're nervous. You can't rationalize with somebody who's had too many drinks or high or whatever. Same sort of principle. It's indecision and I'm not sure. So of course it is, yeah. You want direction. You know what I mean? You want rationality. I completely concur, Teresa. Completely concur. Okay, anyway, so there it is. But it's good to ask. You think, I'm saying, is it me? And then you find out, no, it's a few other people. I'm saying right now, no, it's when you have things that don't make sense, it's usually emotion taking them because they're not sure of the direction. And you can have enough people putting up big orders and push it in any sort of way. You know, get somebody drunk on the blackjack table, he might draw a card when he's on 20, when he's busted one above 21. There's no sense to that. Same sort of principle. And remember, the retail market is very large at the moment, largest ever by far been in history. And a lot of that retail market is a lot of emotions more than rational strategies taking place. Okay. All right. Any trade ideas to look at? I see a short on this one. If you're in, obviously don't bother. And I think it's going to be some downside on the NAS as well. Might think we're jumping the gun a bit, but I think we're going to get a bit of downside. Maybe wait till tomorrow, let it settle down. But I do see some downside there. We're using the micro, we're going to have wide stops anyway. Any comments, anybody? Yeah, I see downside on the Dow. I'll give it the downside and that's up there. I see downside on it, yeah. Brent at last is starting to come right. Yippee-yi-yay. Yippee-yi-yay. Second time in there and it's coming right. Good bloody stuff. Where's that? Trying to get my alphabet right. D, 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 A, B, C, D. That's the wrong one. Get the Dow Jones Micro. Candice, if you haven't got the micro, go to the live, go to the portal, open up a live account, and you use the option of micro. Dow Jones and the Nasdaq have micros, means you can trade it with less of amounts of money, basically. It's a bit hectic to go in the normal one for people under 10 grand, but down 5 grand on the Nasdaq. I don't know what money you got. I'm saying that you might have a lot more, but I'm saying basically, even if you have 20. Start on the micro, get your confidence. Like everything else in life, confidence, in the kind of line you're in. A lot of guys might have talent, but if they get stage shock, they can't get on the stage and perform. So a lot of it's because of the confidence. I think so, Fani, yeah. I mean that not because we want it to, which is a natural emotion. I actually think that's rational as well as emotional. So stick with it, Baba, stick with it, Google. I think, hang on. Tesla here, I forgot, got it written down. I see Tesla the short. Remember, mentioned it, we came off so much weight, it rallied. We've done the rally. We haven't got a 200 on there simply because it's just that share splits is the right date me. But even though it's slightly up there, I think we can short that. Where we put the stop. I want a decent stop. Remember, Tesla is very volatile. I want a bit of a better stop up here somewhere. Maybe about, that's pretty pushing it, maybe about $10, $11, something like that. What can we get as a TP? There's plenty potential. Like, where's that? Yeah, we can even take it maybe down to this sort of level here, this little gap here. I think we can look at Tesla coming off as well. But going back to the, we'll do the NAS first because that's part of the NAS. Okay, where's it? Here we are. That's indices. If any are not I'm talking about, guys, Candice new here, by the way. That's an index of tech stocks, not all of them, not completely, but mostly tech stocks. So I'm expecting a bit of downside. Go to 15-minute. I'm not happy at the moment, but I think it's going to come in. I don't know what's going to. I honestly don't know what's going to drive all these companies back right up again. We've got too many hassles out there. So yeah, I see Tesla is likely for some downside. Yeah. Yeah, let's see what in the 15-minute. Yeah, it's hovering around there. What's the dollar doing? Just a second, look at my other doobry there. It's still hovering below 104. Getting a bit nervous on this. That's the problem. I just need direction, guys. As I mentioned, hi Victor. Good afternoon, Solid. As Teresa says, it makes me nervous. We don't have direction. I always say it's like get in the car and I want to go north and you want to go south. So we're arguing about it. We can't make our mind up. You know what I mean? It's just what about this lack of direction? The dollar strengthening now starting to weaken again. Is it getting direction? It's right. I tell you what, it's right. It's rallied to resistance. Can you see that line of resistance there? I think we can do it. Well, if you feel that, Teresa, you won't be on doing this one because that will have a positive effect on Tesla. But I think it's a good chance this might come off. So I can be a bit more confident. I've got helping badges in my body language, but I do. But I want a wide stop, $10 stop. That's $10 a share risk. I'm talking that was $180 a share risk. Does anyone feel confident or short on this one? Because I'll be honest with Candice, the trades haven't been going too badly, and I want that credibility and stand to stay the same. I want to rush it, but just feel there's a good chance it's coming off. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I'll just write it down for you. Write it down here and I'll print it out. Because you can't use this calculator, remember? Use the Excel one, but I'll do it off the top of my head, so don't worry about that. Esler.cell. What we're going to get in. Make it 181. And make it 191. And then make it this area here. About this area here. Make it 160. That should do the job. So well, that's going to be $10 or 180 per share. So if you can't afford 180, or you can afford it, but you're a bit nervous if you want to do the trade, maybe risk 90 Rand to go 0.5. Okay, bear that in mind. I'm going to print it to you now, and then take it from there. If you're new to shares, opens at 3:30, closes about 10:30. Always put the dot in front. You'll see the code there. EP is entry point. What's that? 181. SL 191. Make it nice round one there. TP 160, and risk is 10 or 180 Rand per 1.0. Don't forget, not 0.01 or 0. Whatever, like in Forex, this is different. So bottom line, you can extrapolate from that. If you want to risk 90, 0.5. If you want to risk 270 bucks, 1.5. That's basic arithmetic. I think you can work it out from there if you want to do it. So Farley wants to go at it. Anybody else want to go at this one? Anyone want to go at it? You can leave it. Finally likes it, yeah. Make sure you got enough free margin as well. Don't try and jump in if you haven't got much free margin. Even if you got 50 grand, if you got very little free margin because you're very heavily loaded the markets, leave it. Need free margin. Finally likes it. Anybody else? I've got it written down anyway. So I had to put it on there. I've got it written down in any case. Anyone want to join him on that? Okay, well, looks like you're on your own there, mate. Maybe get the last line. We shall see. How's it, Derek? Got a trade there. Don't know if you want to do it. It's a test the trade. No problem. If you want to do it, there's a test the trade. Okay, Zana wants to do it. So yeah, there's a detail of the signal. You can work your own. Don't go 0.01. It's 180 Rand is 1.0. 90 Rand is 0.5, 270, 1.5, 360, 2.0. Remember that. Don't forget the contract size is 1, not 100,000, 500, whatever it happens to be. It's 1. So it's per share. Different to Forex, where you've got a contract size of 100,000. Very different, as you can see. And it's not as heavily leveraged. Margin is 5%, it's only 20 to 1 leverage. Okay. You want to know what the leverage is? Just divide the margin, go to specification, see the margin, divide it to 100 or multiply by 100 or whatever, and that will get your leverage. No, I'm not too sure about that. I took a big knock. There might be a bit of recovery, which I don't say wrong was occurring on opening, but it's not really getting going. Let's look at the 15 minutes, see if it's shorter. Not really getting going. I think it's an overreaction, a bit of profit taking jump on there, but I'm not sure I'd be buying. That's a broker, but it's part bank. Like banks are taking a knock because the SVB Silicon Valley dividend, SVP, yeah. So I'm not too sure about that, no. If Schwab gets up a bit, maybe we can sell it down, but I wouldn't be buying it there. And look, already, it's only been open since 3:30. Yeah, correct? So remember, it's not a day like in Forex, so you open up at 3, and it bounced up and didn't last very long, the rally. I wouldn't be keen on that, no. As I say, if you're on the Dow Jones, stay on board. I think we might get a bit of pullback. It's giving you a bit of jip at the moment. We're not sure how long that's going to last. Okay. Maybe wait for a confirmation or something. Starts to come off, stop above the 200-day moving average. Give it a wide berth. You can afford a 300 stop on the micro anyway, and then maybe look at that. I think that's a possibility. That's gonna. I don't think it's gonna break this guy here. It's gonna have something really strange to make it do that. You took Google, did you? Okay, fine. Well, you made a profit. That's the bottom line.
Yes, remember yesterday I told you I'm going to raise it just above the entry. So it's basically very small, but on opening today, it just shot up. So all these shares, basically, if you go through it, increase in price, but start recovering now.
Yeah, I would do.
The whole lot.
Yeah, I would do, because look at this. You see, it would do. The NAS has gone up as well, but I'm not sure how long that's going to last. You're out now, fair enough. But I'd let it run. Anyway, you took it. If it goes up high, and go in again. But I'm not sure that rally is going to last. I was going to say 3%. Bit better than £3. Good stuff there. You should be still in it, mind you. That's, should still be in it, unless you're in for the first one. We'd send it out again. A lot of guys took profit or got stopped out in a profit because they modified it, and they gave an opportunity to go in again at just below 79. Oh well, it seems to be battling on the 50 when you get past here, but we should see what happens. Anyway, up to you. You made a profit. That's the main thing. And 3%, when you think about it, it's not bad for a day or so, is it? It takes about a year to get that. It takes about 6 months to get that in a bank, Yeah, hold on. Actually, I don't want to test fate yet, but trades haven't been too bad lately, have they? There's a couple of good ones out here. Okay, good stuff. It's a truncated version, which is the fancy way of saying a short version today. I'm only going to go through around about 5-ish or so. Don't forget, tomorrow I'm going in depth on the micro accounts for the indices. Those who don't understand what that's all about can join me at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I think it's on the same number. If it isn't, I'll let you know and post it on the group to you, or the QT group. Those who didn't receive it and want to join it, and just WhatsApp me. You all got my number now, I think. Just WhatsApp me and just to confirm tomorrow after 9 o'clock. I'll know for sure by 9:30 in the trading area, but after 9 o'clock, whether we're going to use another one or we're going to use this particular one for the ID for the Zoom. But it's not for guys who know what we're talking about and talk to the micro. Don't waste your time. I mean, if you can, if you like. I think you've got probably better things to do. But it's just basically for guys who are not quite sure the maths behind the difference between the micro and the normal Dow and NAS. Just go through it a little bit more detail, so they're more equipped. I'm encouraging people to have it because it builds confidence. But nothing worse than going in on your first trade and you take a massive knock, you're overexposed or something like that. And now you're disheartened, you lose your confidence. This is a way to build confidence. That's what I quite like. That's the main reason why we've been pushing to get it. We've got it now. You won't make serious money on it because the position size is too small, but it will build confidence. And initially, that's very, very important. going forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Roger. I definitely will check the micro out. I wanted to sit here and just listen to a bit more of your analyzation of these graphs. I didn't get to. Fortunately, I was kicked out of the session because of load shedding. However, I do want to come back and just be a fly on the wall. I know I probably won't get it all at once, but I think if you are investing at least I am, as little as like a 0.01 pip. I'm trying to test out the markets and test out theories, and just to hear your sound advice would be great.
Okay, right, Karen. So on that subject there, do you know how to place a trade? It's no point doing anything unless you know how to place a trade.
Yes, I do.
Brilliant, good stuff. Well, let's start you off then. Just a small one, 0.01. Just put this up for you here to get you a bit of confidence going. You won't make much on it, but the risk will be minimal. Okay? Get a wide stop because you don't get stopped out in the noise. How far away is that? It's quite a long stop there, so we'll leave it there. It's a hell of a stop, that. And what can we take it down to? That's about 400, take about 800. Take it down to, give me a weekly one, get a decent TP. What the hell happened there? Take it down here, that should do the job. Nice wide one. You always modify, come on, 31200, call it. You must get this. If you haven't got it, get this calculator. Right, 0.01 is 70 bucks. If anybody can't afford 70 rand, they shouldn't be in the trading business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Try that. You're not going to make much because it's such a small position size, clearly, obviously. But maybe just kick it off, do a short on that. It's a very wide stop, so you might be in for a few days, but you can always modify it. You don't have to leave it there. If it comes off quite a bit, you can modify it. If you're not sure what to, just drop me a WhatsApp. Have it on your phone handy. So you might be busy doing something. No harm just to quickly check on the phone. Oh, it's come up. We're short. We want it to go down. The more it goes down, the more profit. Don't forget, it's a short sell. And suddenly it might go down below 32,000. Maybe it's 31,900. It's doing okay. And just WhatsApp me, Roger, Dow's doing okay. Do you want me to modify the stop? And I'll check, not a bad idea, and I'll give you the new one to modify to. Okay, try that out.
Thank you. And
if it works out, it'll give you some confidence. If it doesn't work out, it means you won't give up because you've lost 70 sodding rand. Yeah, and I doubt anyone's going to be jumping off the bloody top floor for 70 bucks. So then it means you're encouraged to do another one, sort of thing. So there you are. If anyone wants to get something going, wide stop, it might get up there. That's why it was stop. I don't know. But I think there's the chances that's going to work out quite nicely. On the 50, this is the 50 moving average on the weekly, it's above that, and it's above the 200 on the daily, it's above that, and on the 400, it's nicely out the way as well. I'm not so pretty on the 4, but anyway, that seems good enough. So we'll see how that goes. We've got a bit of resistance here, and I'm not sure at this stage something radical that's going to propel that market screaming up there. But we have to be aware, as Teresa says, with some daft movements that can occur. So give that a little bit of a shot if you like.
Cool. Thanks.
Brilliant. I'm going to write it down just see how it goes on. I know you get busy, but if you can, it's an ongoing process. Come and join it and you'll build it up. After a while, it'll start falling into place.
Cool. I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Well, we had 32215 for you. 32215, 32605, and 31200. Just write this down. And also to take it, do it. Be a bit cautious on it, but that's 70 bucks is not going to hurt you. 140 or whatever you want to do. Okay. Right, Sandra, I just want to touch on that. Touched on it before. It's a bit quiet at the moment as I can. Everybody listen to what his answer. Code trades, but need to be patient. Absolutely. The problem is with trading, what happens is if it's going against you, you hold on. Now it's flirting with your stop loss. Oh my goodness, I don't want to take a loss. So you move your stop loss away. When I talk about modifying, I mean modifying to reduce risk, not to increase it. But no, you don't want to. And they end up Hey, Mark, you hold on for months on end, hoping your loss trade is going to come right because you don't want to take the loss. Now you're in the blue, you're in a profit. Oh my goodness, that might be taken away from me. And often you can't handle the stress of the winning part. Sounds crazy, I know. And you take it, and often you take it too quickly. If you're in a situation on a trade and you've got a decent profit and your modified stop loss is better than your entry, so if the stop loss is now modified, let's say it moves down here, it's better than your entry, why get out of it? You might end up not making anything on it. Well, certainly not losing, but it might actually turn out well. I mean, a classic example about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I can't remember now, when we went in for Dow short, and in the end, it came off about 1,000 pips. And people taking profit because they couldn't stand the strain of winning with about 100, 200 pips up or whatever it is. No, you run that trade, and 1,000 pips is almost like, I don't know, 15, 16 winning trades on the euro dollar or on the foreign, not the euro dollar, on the currency pairs. That's what I'm saying. Give it a chance and say how long going to be in there. I have no idea. It could be in there a week, couple of days, depending on the speed. Our last Dow Jones we went out on, I think we got out within 24 hours. You hit the TP. Doesn't always happen that way, but ride it. And there's no harm in moving the TP. If it's all hell breaking loose in the world's markets, why get out of there? Move your TP away, move your stop down to protect. Who knows? It might get down to 30, 29, 28. Who knows? Get my point. What he's not saying was August 1919. He had forgot to put that in. What are you talking about? I only got in February. Yeah, February 2012. Okay, good. Right, just knock that off. Put it down here if one will take it. Everybody remember on your charts, right click and set, we'll do it right now. Make sure on your charts you got the brown 200-day moving average or 204-hour, 201 week. The 200 moving average, simple, not exponential, simple. And everyone have the 50 simple. If you like the blue and the brown colors, fair enough. If you don't, make sure you don't get the wrong way around. And then if you like the 100-day moving average, that's the black line. And if you like the magenta, it's a 10-day moving average. Put them on. When you got on the charts, they're very important. You can put the other stuff on, but take them off afterwards if you're not using them. Once you got them on there, just go to templates, save the template. So if you lose your charts, okay, press save, lose your charts. I'll show you quickly. I've got a minute here. Let's lose the chart. Okay, made a cock up. It happened this morning. Lost the charts. No, don't sweat. All you do is right click, go to template, and go to the one you like. You saved. Back in business. So don't forget to save it. If you want information instrument, let's say the CAD CHF for argument's sake, left click, right click, left click on specification. It'll give you the contract size, it'll give you the deposit or margin, etc., etc. Give you all that information you need. Obviously, got to interpret it. Okay. Okay, Vicky. Okay, I like the scouts which sometimes people just do it TP before we do it. Yeah, that doesn't always happen. That's brilliant. I think Xander just WhatsApp me on. I can't look at it now. Rather, if it's, and this is private, doing the private WhatsApp, or put on the chat lines, we can discuss it here. Okay, right. So where were we? Yeah. So what we're doing AUD USD. What's that got to do with the price of eggs? Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, don't forget, markets, we call the noise, go up and down. Everybody going into a trade wants an immediate, that second go in your direction. It might do that. Now, this is brilliant. Next thing it goes back up, come up and down. Remember, millions of people in the market buying and selling, hence the noise. Everyone, as we're speaking now, thousands, tens of thousands of people going in and getting out. That provides liquidity and the counterparty, which you do need, because you have a seller without a buyer. You can't have a buyer without a seller. And that means you've got to have someone who disagrees with you. So it's impossible to be right all the time, because then got no one taking the counterparty area. I always saw as one I saw was I think it was an options trading one on, I think it was Instagram or Facebook or somebody, and you're showing the pressing about how easy it was, win, 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 win. The problem with that, someone's going lose, 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 a zero-sum game. It was that easy. I'd like to meet the person who's losing all the time. It was that easy. People forget that. So obviously it's an advertisement. Okay. Remember, every time somebody wins, somebody else out there has lost. The zero-sum game. So who's the likely winner? The guy who makes the effort to know a bit more than the other guy. Okay, so there we are. Keep an eye on your BABA if you're still in. I still think stick with it. Your Google, if it goes a bit higher, maybe have another bash at it. Yeah, if you've got that a free margin. I prefer it back at 95, but I think that's going to hold. We'll see. The Brent one was doing okay. Is it still doing okay? Yep, still doing well. It's all right. Not brilliant. I hope to go back and stay above 80. It's okay. Yeah, that's about it. The euro dollar hovering around. It's a little bit of profit, eh, Mark, earlier on, about an hour or so ago. That broke 107. I thought good stuff. Now it's popped up. It doesn't know where it's going at the moment. You got your stop loss TP, let it run. When it's like this, as Teresa says, it's more frustrating than anything else. When it's directionless, you want it a weak or a strong market. Directionless as bad as it gets. Bear that in mind. Okay. I hope you made good money on that, Vicky. I hope you made good money on that when you hit the TP. Okay, right. I still think the market's trying to digest what to make of that CPI. Consumer Price Index came out by 2 in the US. I still think they're trying to make out what to do with it because it came out surprisingly as expected. So it doesn't really give a direction. Okay, so I think that's what the market's doing at the moment. So let your trades run. You got your strategy, and who knows, it might come right. We've had a few good trades this week, and overall our trades should be doing better. Well, I know they're doing better than what I'm saying. We've had more winners than losers, and if you're not making money, just make sure you're not overexposed or getting out too quickly. Okay, but that'll come with practice. Okay, good stuff. Right. Any questions, anybody? Anything you would like to check on? Any pairs you'd like, any currencies, any shares, any indices, commodities, anything you'd like to check on? Keep an eye on gold. I think gold's not going to last forever at this level here. I think once it breaks 1900, we might get some action there. Probably maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But I think a few are setting up. It's just waiting for the digestion of the information that's come on from that data release. Okay. Yeah, impatiently like everybody else, me included, Mark. Okay, anything else anybody would like to look at or discuss? I haven't got any brainstorming trades at the moment. Like most people, I'm going to sit and see if we can get some clarity tomorrow. That's what I want. I want to get direction. Let's look at this one here. This one we keep an eye on to get a decent price to sell it. It's getting pretty close to that now. It's gone up. Remember, it came right off. You can see that clearly. It's testing a bit of resistance. I think we might get a bit of downside on this one. Let's look at the weekly. Yep, it's a bit of resistance there on the weekly. Let's look at the 4-hour. You can see there's also a bit of resistance there. Seems to be holding. How far is that? It's only 300 pips. It's not too bad. Put it up here. It's not too bad on the 4-hour. It's not a bad trade. 70 pips is not that much. And it's above all 3 major moving averages. I think there's a possibility of a sell on this one. We missed it this time. Let's see if we can get it last time around. Let's see if we can get it this time. Who likes to sell on this one? Let's look at it. How much you're thinking, making your mind up. 15 minutes. Hovering a little bit, but it's a bit quiet. But anyway, we do use the daily one. I have about 70 pips up there. Yes, above this guy here. I think we can use the 4-hour for this one. The stop up here. I'll put it up and see what you guys think. If you don't like it, obviously, when in doubt, stay out. You know the adage. But I think there's a possibility of this one up here, up there. Yeah, put the stop up there, maybe scratch high, there we are. Then your downside, 1.0, and that will use that one there. Yeah, nothing wrong with your risk reward. 160, more expensive for a micro. That's the smallest position, but I don't want to put the stop closer. So if you can afford 160 bucks a micro, I think this has got a good possibility of downside. Derek likes it. Anybody else like this? Remember, the pound is one of the weaker currencies, and I think at the moment, the Swiss franc is the strongest. When I say currencies, I'm not talking about the Iranian dinar. I'm talking about majors and crosses. Majors are euro dollar, pound dollar, Japanese yen dollar, that's euro dollar, Swiss franc dollar. Those are the majors. The crosses, we call them the crosses, is the Canadian, New Zealand, and Australian dollars. So those currencies, what have we got there? 4, 5, 8 currencies are the majors and crosses. And out of those 8 major currencies, Swiss franc is the strongest. So we want to be selling the rally, and it's backed up. It's the sell zone. Remember, if you haven't got these moving averages, put them on and say, like I mentioned, also has support, resistance, and a filter. Up here, it's strong. In between these two guys, it's a neutral. Below, it's a sell. We want to be selling the rally, okay, rather than buying at this stage. So Derek likes it. Anybody else like it? Because it's 160 bucks a micro, don't touch it below 1,000 rand margin account, because that's 16%. It's a bit heavy. It should really be 1,500 rand. You shouldn't really be risking more than 10%. International norm is 2%, but that's only for bigger figures. But I think anything above 10%, you're overexposed. That's the trouble with small amounts of money, because most of the trades you can't go into without being overexposed. Okay, but that's for a guy who's got 1,500 rand or more. And if you've got 1,500 or 2 grand or more, you make sure you've got free margin. You don't want to go into this and you've got no margin left. Margin call you want to prevent. You've got 0 free margin. Never mind your stop losses. Remember, you will be margin called, and the bank will close your trade. Well, I hope you come right then, Mark, but then fair enough, don't do it. Find your likes. If you've got a couple of people, I'm going to put that down. Eight, 1.1210. Ignore the 5th digit. This number up here is a point, guys. Ignore it. Don't worry about that. It only counts if you've got a multi-large balance, millionaire balance. It doesn't matter. So just use the 4 digits. 1.1210 and 1.099. And what we say, 160 bucks for a micro. Yeah. Right, just give it a chance, see how it runs. Might be in a few days, who knows? Gets down there. Look, last time it was down there, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 working days. Not 7 working days, about a week and a half ago. So it might be in there for a while. See how that goes. Okay, got it. I'm locking it off now. Let's just see the euro dollar. Anything happening there? ABCDE. Hovering. Brent, is it coming back at all, or going? We wanted to go up, as you know. hovering, which leads us up a bit, that's fine. Okay, Dow seems to be hovering a little bit in the 15 minutes. Yeah, see how that goes. Yeah, still looking at dollar index. You should all have it now. It's coming off a bit, so it might get a noise around it. I'm pretty sure that's going to hold. Okay, see how it goes. We're looking pretty earlier on, Vicky and market, but as I say, yeah, it's popped up. It's hovering. It's directions. Let it run. Okay, yeah. Any questions? You've all got the position size calculator, how to get it. If you don't know, if you haven't got it, you know how to get it. Not for your phone. You have to go to the App Store for your phone and find one there. This is for your computer. Don't forget shares are different, so you need another calculator there. You'll find it in your LMS. When you log in, you saved your charts. You've got the dollar index economic calendar. If you haven't, say so, and I'll copy and post again. Any of those basics we can clean up now. We've got a quiet moment in the trading room. Put your hand up and say, if you haven't got any of those things I've been talking about, just tell me and I'll show you how to get it. Okay, calculator, you go to the live chat. You know how to go on the live chats on the Stock Market College website, the Quick Trade World website, or the portal. There's a live chat on there. Just go there, and then when you get on there, go to technical support. Have your computer obviously up and running. You wouldn't be on there, but have it ready. Your app open, do MetaTrader 5 open, ready to rock and roll, and help you download that position size calculator on there. Okay, so that's, you must have it. You can't trade without knowing what your budget is. Clearly, you've got to get that position size right. And you know before you enter the market, you're risking. You know, on the Dow, if you go on in 0.01, this is a constant bill of trade. If it goes pear shaped, you lose $70. That's not going to make you sleepless nights. If it goes well, you might make $100. Who knows? Again, that's not going to make you retire, but at least it gives you the confidence, a taste of the real thing. Okay. Great stuff. Gold, is it? Yeah, gold's hovering around. Say most of it's very, very iffy at the moment. It's directionless, bottom line. Drifting, I think the right word is. So let it drift. You've got your strategy, your protection, you know what you can afford to risk. You'd have worked to that before you entered, so it's hope for the best. It's the best I can do in this drifting market. GBP USD not getting going either. Japanese yen, what's happening there? Might get a better price. I still think we should have looked at it down here or in the daily. Nah, leave it alone. Tesla's about even, Stephen. Yeah, about drift, eh? Very much. Hate it was like this. Boring. Boring. I tell you, it's like being stuck in a traffic jam. You just bought your new Ferrari, you're ready to rock and roll with your brand new Merc or whatever. Now you're stuck in a soddy traffic jam. And you need to go for a pee. That's what makes it even worse, eh? Okay, well, not much to add on that. Any Q&As you'd like to do? Any interaction? I've told you about these moving averages, very important. Copy, put them in, you know how to do that. Insert, go to indicators, insert indicators, go to trend, go to moving average, make sure it's simple, get the color right, 10, 100, 50, and 10, and make your color right, thicken it a bit, and away you go. Then save it, you know how to do that now. Save the templates, just quickly go over that.
Raj, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
With regards to Silicon Bank closing, the markets, and obviously everything went quite red for a while, but it seems like because of the Fed coming in and bailing out, there wasn't really any movement. Is this the sideways traffic that we're seeing now?
Right, part of it. Now, I just want to make sure on the right thing. You talk about Silicon Valley Bank. No, it wasn't bailed out. So I want to get this clear. It was not bailed out. The last time the bank bailed the banks, say never again. This is very, and I quite agree, it's very unfair. You make a cock up, you pay for it. A big bank makes a cock up and they get bailed out. How's that work? So the
Yeah.
guy, the shareholders will lose. That's it. That's the risk you take. The deposit is a different ball game, and that's why the risk of a total run on the banks and the markets, etc., because we're talking billions of dollars in that bank, is put out that they create a liquidity for the deposits for peace of mind. But that's not to bail out the bank. No, just a slight difference there. Yes, has an effect because it's a worry. People are nervous already. People know about massive world debt. People know about the debt and inflation's created because of COVID, and they know about the fact they're trying to reduce inflation. So there's a lot of worry out there, and as a result of it, when you are worried, it doesn't take much an emotional trigger for people to sort of react and get indecisive or overreact. So you're sort of on point. So need to clarify that, yeah.
So do you think the sideways movement of the market is because people are fearful and they're not trading as much, or people are trading but it's just moving sideways?
Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, just want to go on. We have something called high-speed traders. High-speed trader doesn't touch anything. They can't. It's too quick. Multi-million-dollar calculations and phenomenally expensive computer machines go in and out of the market for institutions with no cost. Remember, you got that spread for cost. So there'll always be liquidity of these guys going in and out. There's a worry on the bank. Now, what's happened is the US Consumer Price Index was there in theory to give an area where are we still inflation going up, or are we under control of this inflation? Neither happened, and it came out as expected. The last CPI, the same. We did actually not too badly on it. It came out as expected. Now when it's come out as expected, it sounds a little bit daft that's the expected is not what you wanted. You want direction. It came out as expected. The market doesn't know what to make of it. Is that the bank problem? That's half solved. Now they've got the worries, everything, and now they don't know whether inflation's under control or not because it came out exactly as expected. So the market's basically out there scratching his head. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Laurel and Hardy. Laurel used to be very famous for scratching his head. Remember, the market's doing a lot of Stan Laurel and scratching his head at the moment. Those are sort of things happening. So what happens is you need a leader to create direction. We're not big enough, with all due respect, to create that direction. So we're waiting for the bigger guys to give us a direction. We call it the smart money. I don't think it's smart. It's the big money. And they might create a direction, and then we can start to follow it. And that's when we use the buy, then we use the candles and the technical to see what the buyers and sellers are doing. The green keeps going up, and it breaks through resistance, comes back testing going up. Well, clearly, the market likes the dollar, so we want to back the dollar. And you say, I can't stand the Americans. I don't care. You back the dollar. You get the point. Or I love the Americans. Never mind you short if it goes down here. So we're waiting for the direction, to get the confirmed direction, and then we clamber on board. You get the idea.
Cool.
And that takes a bit of time and effort to learn those basic reading to do it. With a bit of practice, you can go in, Alice.
You know what? I think my initial instincts was as soon as SVB failed, there was going to be a bank run. There was obviously not going to be a bailout, and this was going to be the consequence of being over leveraged within a bank context. But it seems like there is no consequence. So as a trader, like you're sitting here, you're like, well, like we're not really trading in the real market, are we?
Well, that's the point you brought up. Yeah, a lot of these banks are a little bit over leveraged. They shouldn't really be, but that's the way it is. I agree. They had a $2 billion hole. They wanted to sell shares to fill. Now, $2 billion. You sell. Let's go and do a share now. Let's go to the test we took earlier on. Now we've got Candice there selling 1 or 2 shares. No due respect, nobody cares. Now you talk around and say we've got a bit of need of cash, we've got a bit of a problem. We need to sell $2 billion, figure 2.2 billion, wherever it was, shares. What happens when your money is in there, Candice? You've got your life savings, your money's in there. You're not that knowledgeable on economics, just an ordinary citizen. What's going to happen when that hits the newspaper? Yep, got it. you're in the business, understanding people's emotions. Exactly the same here. Panic sets in, and then you get an overreaction. Then the guys rushing through the money out, 40 odd billion, 42 billion, I think it was drawn out. That creates a problem. Now that can have a knock-on effect on the others. That's why over the weekend they put it out. The depositors will create liquidity for the depositors, but the guys with the shares tough on them. But that's okay. Not okay for them, but I mean, that's fair enough. And there's no bank bailout. And that nervousness is running through it. And you find like Charles Schwab and a few other banks came tumbling on the back of that. That's nerves, because that doesn't say they're in the same problem.
How is it possible that 3 major banks in America can fail and the Dow Jones doesn't move anywhere?
No, that's if three major banks fail, trust me, that Dow will come off. That Dow will come off. Until the government steps in to make some decision, that Dow will plummet, absolutely, yeah. Look what happened to Lehman Brothers several years ago, 2008, wherever it was. And they bailed that damn bank out. I'm not doing that again, but they will have great liquidity, okay. To try and stop that chain reaction. That's what happens, an emotional chain reaction. I'll give an example. What happened was the price gouging on Mars and Discam, and that was released. Discam shares fell off. It happened the same on Clicks. Clicks happened to be in the same business as Discam, but it had nothing to do with that. But it's a chain reaction, a momentum move. And Signature Bank as well.
So it's quite bad signs. However, it's just not, the market is in shock at the moment and no one's digesting this information basically, as quickly.
It's sort of, which I think the shock's sort of got over. It's indecision. They're not sure what to make of it. That's it. It's just indecision. You know what I mean? I am very much on favor of selling the rally. I don't go anywhere near the bottom for bargain hunting. I'm telling you right now, debt-wise, worldwide, it's massive compared to the earnings. I mean, look at your personal balance sheet. You're on 10 grand a month and you owe 50 grand on your credit card, on your shoes, and your car, or whatever.
And what about NAS? The NASDAQ hasn't really moved at all either, and it's comprised of like technology companies. It just makes no sense that, like, okay, so it's scratching heads, waiting anticipation, bated breath. And once we bring it out, it's going to be a sigh and a decline, or are we going to digest that the USD into the market and be more excited? For the dollar, will the dollar be deflated?
No.
What's the prediction?
That's correct. And then anything to do with inflation, expect a stronger dollar. There's a lot of nerves out there because this bank. I know they came out and said we'll rescue the depositors, but that makes you feel nervous. Now, it happened to Nedbank, but your money's with Capitec or ABSA, you're still going to be nervous. Because, I mean, people kill, steal, cheat, let friends down for money. You know what I mean? You've got your money in there, and that's as bad as it gets. You start to worry. And that's when emotion takes over. And now your trust goes. And they say that, they say this, but they think, oh, let's play safe, let's get the money out. That's what they're trying to prevent. But going back to what they're saying there, I don't know about Silvergate. I've never heard of them actually. West Alliance Bank I have, but I don't know if that's another case. They've got problems. Then we're starting to see some serious stuff. If one bank's bad enough, even if they're not big, and I've heard of West Alliance, it's not a Mickey Mouse bank. I'll be honest, I never heard of Silvergate. But that's the one.
Bank tickers that we could check out on the MetaTrader.
You might find one or two. I think Goldman Sachs is on there, JP Morgan's on there. But you always got to remember that when big news comes out like that, it's discounted to the market almost immediately. So when you start looking after you heard the news on Monday, and start hunting around to maybe sell it on the Tuesday, it's already down there. Look at Charles Schwab as an example. Use Charles Schwab as an example. Look at that. Discounted immediately on the market. So it's come down. Now you want to join it, but the short sellers are already getting out and taking profit. Remember, when you sell short, you're buying to exit. You're buying to exit. We call that a short covering bounce. A few buyers will come in to push it. On the short term, there might not be a longer term. We can't get a trade out on it. So that's what the bounce is. That's been discounted in the market. You don't want to chase it after fundamental news has been released. It's too late. Immediately. So we're looking to short this, but some guy wouldn't buy it, no. I want to short it, but I just want to get it settled down, which won't be today. Have another look at it settling down tomorrow. I want to see what the Dow's doing, etc. So what that, so that's what I'm saying. It's leave the trades you got at the moment to run. Don't get cute with it, and I think we might hopefully start getting some direction soon, because it is the most difficult trading conditions when you've got this scratch in the head, lack of direction. And don't ask me, because I don't know any more than Goldman Sachs knows or Bloomberg knows. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, Jacob, we can do it, but I'm very nervous of buying any of these shares, to be honest. We'll have a look at it. Right, okay. Now you want to buy that. Now, Jacob wants to buy that. Mark, Farney, what do you think? Do you see a buy in that? What's your interpretation of that? What do you think? I know what I think. I can see that immediately, but I mean that's practice. But what do you guys think? Guys, we trade a little bit longer. Farney, Fiona, if you like. Knowledge trade a bit. You can do it for a starter. That's interesting. What do you think, Farney? What do you think, Mark? Would you be buying this?
No, it is in the selling part neutral zone. It hit the resistance of 100 days. So I will only look at it once it breaks through the 100 days. Otherwise, it's much better to sell it.
I totally agree with that. And it's facing strong competition. Now, remember Mark Shear, he made a comment that he's in IT business. So he'll have some insight, not insider trading knowledge, but more knowledge on this type of stock or company. You know what I'm saying? So that's also added to it. So to be honest, to put that up again, Jacob, I think it's not a bad trade idea, but I see it as a sell. Actually, I like that as a sell. Not Mark, sorry, Farney. Well done, Candice, by the way. I know we suddenly pull that from the beginner. But yeah, no, not a buy, no. It's holding there. He's saying confirmation. This is the blue is the 50. It might be a bit of confirmation break below that. But I think this is a possibility of where it is now. Maybe I'm being over aggressive. On the 200-day, not 200, so on the weekly chart, clearly the trend is down. Look how the 10-week, remember it's a weekly on here, 10 weekly, 50-week moving average is on the hourly. This is now is a 200-hour. Okay, it might be slightly up now, but we'll get too excited about that very short term. That a bit of a jump. On the 4-hour, it's holding. On the day, it's holding. On the weekly, look at the trend line, 100-day, 50-day, definitely a downtrend. And look, the weekly seems to be holding on it. I see this as a short. How far up is that? $3 is a bit of a distance, quite a big distance, because it's only a $20 share. Maybe that's pushing it a bit. Maybe put the stop back up here. At 29.70. With a can we get a risk reward? That's the problem. Can we get a risk reward? That's my issue. A risk reward. Maybe I have to push it down here. 290, which means we've got to look maybe about 160 max. As a stop loss, is it worth it 160? We could probably risk 160, yeah, to do it. I think this is a trade for a short myself. I quite like this, Jacob, but not as a buy, no. What's it doing with 15? Any pullbacks yet? Any confirmation? See, it's hovering at the moment on the 15. You might feel you want to do it by an hour's confirmation or something like that as a red. Remember, you can only do this up to about 10:30 if it closes then. It's not round the clock like Forex. But I think that 100 is going to hold, and I see some downside. It is part of the NASDAQ being a tech stock. What's the NAS doing? Hovering a bit. So you might want to wait, but I think this could be a possibility of, it's the wrong one now, Intel. I think it's a possibility of downside on this one. I quite like this, but not as a buy, as a sell. If you want to wait till tomorrow, feel a bit more cautious as you can, but I think it's a possibility of that. We can't put too wide a stop. because we won't get a risk reward. But I think we've got a good chance of this one. Top up here, which is going to be about 160. Where's 160 here? 160 is about here. When was it last at that price? It was last there in 6th of February, which is just over a month ago. And it's confirmed on the 4-hour. You see that? These guys here. Maybe we should be cautious and wait for tomorrow, but I think I'll discuss it tomorrow. But I think there's a possible downside here. You might want to be prudent, wait for confirmation. Any opinions on that? Should we wait on this? Okay. Okay, we'll wait on that. That's probably a little bit more. Yeah, maybe wait. I hope we don't miss out, but I'd rather wait and do that. Okay, we're happy on that one. Okay, I've got it written down. Intel, I quite like it for short. We get a bit more confirmation yesterday. We might even be able to send it out for tomorrow's trade to all the guys. Remember, like I said, if you've got more than 2.5 in grand in your account, you've got my number. I couldn't get anyway. Just give me a second. There you are. If you've got more than 2.5 grand or equivalent in US dollars, just WhatsApp me and I'll make sure you're on the VIP group. If you're not in the VIP group, if you already are, don't bother. If you've got my details and you're on the VIP, irrelevant. If you've got my details and you've got more than 2.5 and you want to be on the VIP group, why would you not want to be on? Then just let me know and then I'll upload you. Okay. Entirely up to you. I know guys have got to get home from work and stuff like that. Absolutely. Completely. I mean, I work from home. It's easy for me. You might have other stuff to do, of course. And if we've covered something in the first 15 minutes and we've got a moment or two, we can go back on it anyway. So no problem there. Just not about 5:15, because then we're just about a close sort of thing. But no problem at all, of course. Okay, guys, I said it's a truncated version of the CPI earlier on. We'll just do 4 to 5, so just after 5 now. What we'll do is catch you tomorrow, and glad to have you guys join if you can, just there. And then, yeah, and then we can see what we can do tomorrow. Let the trades run, maybe get some direction, and get down your knees and pray that euro dollar will come right. Okay. Good stuff. All good? Cool. Thanks. Catch you later. Thanks, Fiona. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Alexander.